People who found out their parents committed a crime. What happened? When I was 7, my 5-year-old brother Steven went missing. The police did a huge investigation. Steven's face was on every newspaper, and my parents went on every news station crying and begging for information for months, but they never found him. The police thought he must have been kidnapped and ultimately died. My parents told me we needed to move on, and after that I was punished if I even mentioned Steven. We just pretended he never existed, but I thought about him all the time. 10 years after his disappearance, we got a call from the police station. They'd picked up a homeless teenager a few states away, and after a thorough investigation, they were pretty sure it was Steven. My parents packed us up, and we got right on a plane to meet him. As soon as my parents saw him, they started sobbing and saying, "That's our baby," but something didn't feel right to me. I'm an artist, and I'd spent so many nights secretly studying pictures I'd hidden away of Steven, trying to draw versions of what he might look like now. It's not like I expected them to be dead on, but this kid looked nothing like them. But my parents were so sure that I convinced myself I was just being paranoid. The 4 of us went home, and for 4 weeks, we adjusted to life with Steven again. We did talk shows, talking about the miracle of getting him back. We showed Steven family pictures, updating him on the family members he surely remembered, but I could never get rid of the doubt. Eventually, I tracked down our pediatric dentist and got Steven's dental records. I brought them to the police station and begged them to reopen Steven's case to see if this kid was the real deal. The police contacted my parents, and they were furious, insisting that this was Steven, and a miracle had happened. But right in the middle of that, Steven himself raised his hand and said, "It's not true. I'm not him." Then he told everyone the truth. He was just some runaway from Oklahoma who had been scamming his way around the country since he was 13. He remembered seeing Steven on the news, so when the police brought him and he was worried he was about to get hit with charges once they ran his record, he just declared that he was Steven to distract them. And it worked. The creepiest part was that he wasn't 15, not even close. He was a full-grown man who just looked young. While I was still reeling from that, the police asked him why he was telling the truth now, and he said, "Because I look nothing like Steven," and they said they believed me right away. There's only one reason they do that. They know Steven isn't alive and they're using me as an alibi. My parents started yelling immediately, denying everything. But the next day, there was a whole team of cops at our house, combing the place for evidence they might have missed the first time around. And this time, they found Steven's bones in our backyard. My parents broke down, saying that Steven lost his life in an accident, and they'd panicked and hidden his body. They swear they weren't responsible for his death, but the bullet wound in his forehead said otherwise. With this new evidence, the case was reopened, and detectives started interrogating my parents and looking for new evidence. My parents refused to speak. It was clear they were going to die on this hill, claiming he died in an accident. But the detectives found something incriminating. Hidden deep in our basement, tucked behind a loose brick, they uncovered an old, rusted revolver, wrapped in a blood-stained cloth. Forensics quickly matched the firearm to the bullet found in Steven's remains. The fingerprints on the handle belonged unmistakably to my mother. Faced with the undeniable evidence, my father finally broke his silence and revealed the bitter truth. That night, they had been arguing fiercely about money, about his gambling debts that threatened to ruin them. Steven had stumbled into the room, frightened by their yelling, crying, and wanting to be comforted. My mother, consumed by rage and desperation, had snapped and raised the revolver, screaming at my father. In that moment of chaos, Steven had stepped forward, trying to protect our father, and my mother had pulled the trigger without hesitation. I listened to their confessions, feeling numb, shattered, and betrayed. They had destroyed everything. They were handcuffed shortly after, my mother sobbing it was an accident, and my father hung his head low. Later that night, I sat alone in my apartment and opened a fresh sketchbook. I drew Steven's face yet again, perfectly capturing his innocence forever frozen in time. It wasn't perfect closure, but it was a step toward peace, a peace Steven deserved, a peace I hoped someday I might find too.